You got it. Finally got it. So, happy birthday, Michael. Suddenly figured out that people are not wearing plaid just because it's under 50 degrees this morning, but because it's his birthday.
Everybody wants to be like Mike.
So let's all sing Michael happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you, Michael. Happy birthday to you. He is now able to qualify for senior discount, so we'll be accepting all emails from AARP and capitalizing on that. All right. Without further ado, hello and welcome to Unity Center of Des Moines. I see some new faces that I haven't seen in person today, and yes, we are always this fun, but we don't always celebrate quite this much. But today is a reason to celebrate. We're so glad that you're here, especially with the marathon going on. So glad that you found your way, and take a deep breath and know that I'm Stevie Lane. And then we want to welcome you to Unity Center of Des Moines. Whether you're here in person or joining us online for the first time, know that we are a diverse community that is committed to living a positive spiritual path, and we honor each person's individual sovereignty. If you're here in person and happen to notice there are Unity welcome packets out front, you're free to take one of those. You got one, so good deal. There's some information there about you can learn more about us on our website, unitydesmoines.com, and then also unity.org. You can learn more. So let's begin with song. And the lyrics will be up on the screen momentarily. We got some, and thank you. Can we also say thank you to Mary Lee and Clayton, who filling in on Saturday today, not their usual deal, but they're helping us out. And the show goes on.
Good morning, I'm Susan. I'm your song leader with a very little bit of a voice. So you don't have to really just sing out loud. This is team singing today, all right?
Okay.
All right, good. I feel the spirit moving in me. 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 I feel the sound I feel the love in me. I feel the love in me. I feel the love in me. I feel the face moving 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 in me. I feel the trust 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 moving in me. I feel the peace 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 moving in me.
Yay, a round of applause. For God, and Susan showing up. She reminded me today that we just need to show up and we can't really do it wrong. It just is. Remember that when the second song. No, I'm just kidding. All right, announcement. So we have celebrated Michael's birthday. I also want to thank everyone. So many helped with the fair and in the setup, in the participation, and then the tear down. It was a huge success. Of any that I've been a part of, it was my absolute favorite. There were several people that made comments along the lines of, I don't even know how I found this place. I just heard about it somehow, and I just felt like coming in here, and that just raises my spirit because that tells me that spirit is alive and well and working, like we talk about in our affirmation, that we are that shining light. What other celebrations do people have? It is a celebration service, so I'd like to open it up to what else are people celebrating? Yes, go ahead, Liz.
Okay, well, I attended the very peaceful protest yesterday at the Capitol, myself and millions of others surrounding the country. There was so much peace and music and speakers and love and joy. Roscoe and I got around as far as we could. Everybody had smiles on their faces. We're all there to support the love of our country and what's happening to it. I've heard some other things, being said and so on, but it was so many people there and just so much, doing our part to try our best to save our democracy. So everybody was so kind. If there was any discourse, I didn't see anything whatsoever. And just, there were approximately 12,000 people just in our location. I just felt it was very moving to be part of
We make our community. When we come in this door, we make this is love. This is the world.
Yes.
And that's how we vibe. Yes, Jennifer.
And on my comfort zone yesterday, joining Wayne in
Talking to people about water. Yeah, and how good that is. Susan, did you?
Oh, I'm grateful for being able to share and open my mouth and something come out.
Yay!
That's good.
I lost my voice on Friday. Well, yes, but I told my kids I teach. I told my elementary kids, I'm gonna share my croaky voice with you. And they said, oh, thank you, Mrs. Gary. There's such love and such kindness out there in our community.
Yeah.
And yesterday was just joyful. I just didn't feel it didn't matter, I had a voice, and just remember you have a voice, and that true voice is all here. And every one of us needs to share that. We don't even have to open our mouth to share that voice. Just our beingness can be our voice, being there in our community like that. So that's my message today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Yeah.
My message today is I really enjoyed the fair yesterday, but I woke up and if you notice the sunshine is shining so much brighter and the air is so much clearer.
Yeah.
And this is a real thing, it's happening. And it kind of wakes us up, but also today is like it's a hard day for sure. Venus has been in our astrology for on and off, you know, I can't even say how, but today I really feel the love. You know, I opened up in poetic verse on the way here thinking, wow, I get to be here. I'll be here for Michael and for all, you know, for myself and for everybody. But I don't know, I just want to share and be a bigger part of community, and I want community to be a bigger part of me because the community is within me, and so I am within the community.
That's right.
I love this community.
Yeah. Absolutely. We are all one, whatever we amplify in the class.
Well, I am celebrating the simple pleasures and joys in life today. Usually I share my creativity with you through music and sound. This week I had the opportunity to take my second floral arranging class, and I made this on the stage and brought it for you to share.
And Deb, it is beautiful. Is that like a squash? Like
It's a pumpkin.
it's a pumpkin.
Oh, wow.
It's turned orange.
Yes.
It's starting out white, now it's yellow.
Pumpkin before it turned orange. And yesterday, Olive made some Arabic pumpkin bisque that was amazing. And she said as she served it out to people that it was a very ugly pumpkin when she started. But don't judge a book by its cover because it was delicious. All right, so let's move on to other announcements. We've got some special events starting today. At 4 p.m., the event Beyond the Veil with Melody Polanski and Deb Jennings. At 4 p.m., there's details on what to expect and pricing in the newsletter and online. Tuesday, there's the regular midday noon meditation with Deb Jennings. And there's also at 4:30 cacao ceremony. And then at 6:30, the new moon gong meditation. So again, those details and pricing are online and in the newsletter. Then on Thursday, 10/23, there is Oral Breath with Deval. Those details are on the calendar. If you just go to Thursday evening, you can read all about that. She does limit how many people come. So if you want in, I would get in sooner rather than later. Then Friday is a donation-based men's circle. Abraham Lamarck is leading this, and I think it's something about kings in a good way, in the divine masculine way. Men coming together. That is Friday's men's circle, and that is 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. here in the sanctuary, and again, donation based. Then as a reminder, if you have signed up for the Power of Your Word prayer class, that is starting next Sunday morning at 9 a.m. It is a 6-week series. We've got the sign up sheets. If you want in, please get your name on there because it starts next week and each week builds on the next. So really want to lock in how many people are going to be participating. Judy will be here to do that. And you can read more about that in the newsletter. Also on next Sunday, October 26th at 4 p.m. is going to be a drum circle, community drum circle. That is a donation-based event. And I'm assuming you're going to be there, John.
Yeah.
Stacy is the one that messaged me about it, but that is just come in, bring your drum. If you don't have an instrument, that's okay because they've got noisemakers that you can join in. And it is a really special thing to join together, and no wrong way to do it.
Right.
Just show up and come. And you guys do a great job leading.
Right.
Are there any other special events or announcements that I either didn't know or forgot about? I did do a pan of the room, so you see all the flannel. Our regular events are on schedule. Tai Chi's on for Wednesday. Okay, so all of that is on the calendar. If you would like to get our newsletter, I know I referenced it several times. If you're not getting it currently, in the welcome packet and also on that front little glass table, there's a sheet where you can sign up to get our email newsletter. You can also give us any feedback or submit any prayer requests. Whatever you write down, that box right under that painting there is where you put it, and we'll collect it. And once we get this Power of Your Word class going, we're going to have a larger, more defined prayer ministry. So excited about what that is going to bring in for us. Okay, let's do the statement of faith. The words are up on screen. Let's say it all together. There is only one power active in my life and in the universe, the divine source of all life and love. Next, the unity affirmation. And as we say this together, if you can really allow yourself to drop into your seat, to feel the support of the ground, the chair beneath you, and the oneness that connects us all. Unity of Des Moines is the radiating center of the divine light, mighty to attract its good and to radiate good to others. And with that oneness in mind, I have a list of people to keep in our prayers. Elena, Allie, Alexander, Brittany, Carla, Seal, Chad, Dennis, Dawn, Deb and family, Denny, DJ, Jennifer, Jack, Jiltsana, Aaron, Kevin, Kim and family, Christina, Laura, Linda, Marilyn, Matthew, Paul, Pam, Celine, Scott, Star, Susan, Victoria, and people with struggles we know nothing about. We'll move into our time of meditation. Let your body begin to relax. Slow down the thinking and the breathing. Sink into your chair and let it support you. Allow the earth beneath our floor to help ground you with your feet on the floor. And gently scan your body from head to toe and notice if there's any areas of heaviness, denseness, pain, or discomfort. And if there are, with your next breath, breathe in healing light and love to those areas. And with each breath, try to slow it down and elongate the exhale, breathing in through your nose of peace, calm, and relaxation. And letting go of anything no longer serving you as you breathe out. And as you continue to focus on your breath and being present in this now moment, what's coming up for you? If there are any fears coming up, I'll remind you what A Course in Miracles says, to always choose love over fear. And to trust that all is unfolding in divine order for your highest good. Even in those times when we can't see a blessing in a situation, if we trust it's unfolding for us rather than happening to us, we surrender into that mystery and allow the blessings to come forth. So as we go into the silence, see what is coming up for you and choose love and trust. As you gently bring your awareness back from the silence, this time breathe in unconditional love for yourself, loving yourself exactly as you are in this very moment, and breathing out gratitude for this time. Together this morning, you can love and trust yourself and your community in this time. Feeling grateful for this trust in the community, for this place that we get to come together in every week
to celebrate and share our celebrations. As you come fully back, allow yourself to let this day unfold for you in the ways the divine has in mind for you, and trust every step of the way. Thank you, Doug. The daily word for today is taken from Luke chapter 6, verse 37, which says, "Do not judge, and you will not be judged. Do not condemn, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven." Occasionally, I may decide that a transgression or mistake is simply unforgivable. However, when I maintain a spiritual perspective, I realize forgiveness is key to moving on from painful interactions and is an important part of my spiritual path. Releasing unforgiveness may be one of the hardest things I will do, but I trust there will be peace in my heart and clarity in my mind when I do it. Whether I struggle to forgive another or myself, I trust there is no judgment or condemnation in spirit. Whatever the error, the divine presence within can help me transcend it. There is no pain, no hurt that is greater or more enduring than God. This is the comfort and promise that helps me forgive and know lasting peace. The affirmation that goes along with this, I'll say it once, and then if we can all say it together, is this: forgiveness is my path to peace. Forgiveness is my path to peace. All right, let's have another song. And this one, the lyrics are going to be up on screen as well. And I'm going to do my best to sing it with Deb. I'm thankful, so grateful. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in love. I surrender, I surrender. I surrender to the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in love. I'm thankful, so grateful. I am one with the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in love. I surrender, I surrender. I surrender to the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in love. Thank you, everybody. Oh my God, yes, thank you. I was screwing that song up as we were practicing and talking about trusting in love. I was like, I'm just gonna trust that Spirit will give me the right note. And it worked. So there you go. Trust in love. Speaking of trust, I think we're ready to announce our speaker. Our birthday boy, Michael Kolbeck. Please give him a round of applause.
Yeah.
He's going to be speaking on trust, the bridge between fear and faith.
All right. I gotta take it in for a moment right here. Because looking out and seeing all these beautiful flannels, right? Paul standing up representing back there. So everybody, I love it. I appreciate it. All this plaid. So that's pretty great. And the funny thing is, I didn't put it together until Stevie walked in this morning. And I'm sitting there in the chair going, That's interesting. He usually doesn't wear flannel. And then I kind of started looking around and noticing, there's a lot of flannels here. And then it started being mentioned. I remember, I think it was Hillary last year. I think you planned this last year.
And then
Something,
you show up.
something similar, and then I didn't show up. Right, so I don't know if this many people, and Jody's walking in and she has her flannel on too. We're giving an ode to flannel and plaid right now, Jody. So, thank you, everybody, I appreciate it, and I got a birthday pin today as well, so thank you. And I have no birthday cake out there, so thank you, everybody, for everything. So today we're gonna be talking about trust, right? How much do you really trust? And we hear it all the time. It's like an easy thing, supposedly on the surface, right? It's okay, just trust. How many times we've been told that? If I never heard this phrase before until I started my healing journey per se, but I kept hearing the phrase and it comes up all the time now. Just trust the process. And we see it on our money. Every time we spend our money, assuming we're using cash, in God we trust. Right there. Every single time we spend $1. But the question is, like, do we really trust? Not in theory, not in concept, not because you've read some spiritual book and you think, oh, that's great, you know, but actually, do you really trust? In the quiet spaces and places of life where things aren't going as you would hope, they're not going as planned. In the moments when control seems to slip through your fingers and the answers seem to be elusive to you, when there's a little bit more darkness, it feels, than there normally is, in those moments, do you really trust? It's easy to trust when everything is going good. When I was younger, I was taught to trust in God. Seems like a really simple thing to trust in God, to turn all your cares over to God. But I was also taught to fear God. And now that I'm a bit older, it's very interesting because how can you trust in someone or something that you also have learned to fear? The two just don't go hand in hand. I was taught that God was always watching me. He was waiting for me to screw up so he could judge me and punish me. Whether those things were taught explicitly, yes, at times they were. Other times it was just my own filters. That's what I was hearing. That's what I was taking in from whatever message was being said. Punishment awaited if I fell short, and inevitably, I would fall short. That was something we were taught as well. I was taught to trust in God, but not in self. Thinking of self was equated as sinful, was equated as bad, because if you're thinking of self, then your eyes are on you. How terrible of you. And your eyes were not on God. And so I tried to trust in God. I tried to do what he says, to live my life according to the way that I had been taught God wanted me to live. But there was this dissonance inside, these conflicting beliefs that were at war with themselves. On the one hand, it's like, well, I really wanted to trust God. On the other hand, like, I was scared to death of this dude. Like, I just didn't know, like, I kind of fear you know, making the simplest decisions and taking actions and stuff. And I'm always like, ooh, is this going to turn out well? What's waiting for me on the other side? Because if I fail at this, you know, there's probably going to be some punishment, some judgment waiting. From all outward appearances, it seemed like I was trusting in God. People could look at that and say, well, he's up there, he's doing the things, he's going to Christian college, whatever it was, you know. But the truth is, I was simply trying to obey, to do what I needed to do in order to avoid any judgment or punishment or bad things that may come. My actions and my behaviors in life, they weren't driven by trust, they were driven by fear. Fear of thinking the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing, of not being good enough, not being faithful enough. Fear that things wouldn't really be okay unless I could figure out that magical thing to prove that I was actually valuable and worthy of love. So it wasn't trust that was operating in my life at all. It was fear that was driving the decisions and actions in my life. And the simple fact is, trusting didn't feel safe. Since it was equated with a lot of other rules and a lot of other beliefs that were very fear-based, it made it very difficult to truly trust. And when we're operating from a place of fear, I think an important part to remember is that goes back to safety. And if we don't have a sense of feeling safe, a sense that we're safe, then how can we really trust at all? A feeling of safetiness is one of our primary needs that we have. You've heard me talk about it before, but I spent a good portion of my life dethroning God, at least the version of God that I had. I was tired of following all these beliefs and rules and my life ending up in, what is this exactly? What is going on here in my life? It ended up with a lot of heartache and pain continually, and it only got worse and worse. So I started going through the process of, this doesn't work. The truth is, it made me angry, but I used the anger then as fuel to kind of bring me back to myself a little bit, to bring me home to myself, to say, you know what, I'm trying to do all of these things. I didn't recognize any of this at the time. I didn't recognize the things I was trying to do were based in fear. I thought at that time that what I was doing, the way I was showing up, that it was based out of trust. It was based out of some form of obedience. But with the things that kept showing up in my life, I began to feel angry. I began to feel like, this is not what I wanted at all. Why is everything so hard? Why is everything falling apart? Why is there so much pain around every corner? And I didn't have anywhere to channel that. I couldn't really channel it at myself because, again, there wasn't really a strong definition of self. So I had always been taught to look at God, and I believed I was living by the rules and beliefs that I had about God and trying to do things based on that. So obviously, my life being a mess was his fault. And so that's where I directed my anger. And so I went through a dethroning process. I didn't know that that's what I was doing at the time. I just knew, listen, I'm tired of doing this. This isn't working out the way I want. And little by little, I was challenging God, sometimes very directly, just going like, yeah, well, I'm going to do this and I'm just kind of going to see what happens. And it was testing those beliefs I had in me. I don't think at that point I even realized that beliefs and things were driving my life. I didn't have any understanding of that. And a number of years ago, I reached a point where I realized I could stay on the same path that I'd been on. But in order to do so, I had to accept that the pain and heartache and stuff that was continuing to get worse all the time would continue down that same path. What's that definition of insanity, right? Keep doing the same things over and over and hoping for something different. So I had a moment of clarity a few years ago, finally saying, listen, you're choosing in every day to the same things, or you can do something different. I could choose to trust in the unknown and take a leap of faith. There's a little story or a little saying about three frogs that were sitting on a log. Three frogs are sitting on a log, and one of them decides they're going to jump into the water. How many frogs are sitting on the log? Anybody? You know the answer, right? So I saw one person, saw Wayne here, point three. Lady over here say three. Couple over here said two. But right, three is right. The first time I heard that, I was like, well, two. There's only two. Because the one frog decided to jump in the water. Didn't do it, right? So my life was much the same way. That frog remained on the log. He decided to jump in the water, but he didn't do anything to actually make it happen. Trust is not a passive thing where you simply make a decision and do nothing. That's not actually trust. Trust requires action. It requires you to do something, even if that something doesn't really appear to be active, such as the act of surrendering or the act of letting go. Lots of times, those are internal things that we have to take action on. It's very easy when we say, well, I've got this sheet of paper here, the stack of paper in my hand, I'm going to let it go. And we actually open our hand and we let the paper go. Paper falls to the floor. It's an action, but it's the same thing internally. Once you choose, once you make a decision to surrender, to let go of something, everything starts within. And there may be no physical thing at the moment that you need to let go of, but it's aligning your mind and saying, I'm going to let go of this. And then taking your mind a little bit further through the process and actually feeling what it feels like to let go of that thing internally, to surrender to what is internally within. That's an action. For many years, I just stayed on the log. I kept looking at everything around me, just not going the way I had suspected that life would go. But I kept remaining on that log. And I only took action at that time in my life once the pain became too great. Once I realized I cannot do this anymore. So with that, with pain being the catalyst, I took the leap of faith. And little did I know at the time that that was actually an act of trust in self, an act of trust in life, an act of trust in God, in source, or however you turn that. And that somehow everything was going to be okay. I spoke about a month ago on your journey into the unknown. And I talked about stepping out of the boat. I didn't use these words, but stepping out of the boat equated to stepping out of your comfort zone, what I like to call your familiar zone, because even if it's familiar, doesn't necessarily mean it is healthy or safe for you. We talked about stepping out of the boat and moving into the beyond what we know. For me, it was leaving my job of 25 to 30 years, which is now complete, actually. So, thank you. I spent this last week. And it's been a very odd week to say. It's been a very good week, but a very odd week. Quite satisfying to look at my, metaphorical watch on my wrist at 9 a.m. every morning and go, yeah, those guys are all dealing with the new line of chaos for the day. They just erupted out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting here drinking my coffee.
Yeah.
From that perspective, it was great. From another perspective, it's allowing me to notice a lot of things, how much we are just driven to do. And in the past number of years, I've been trying to balance that out and say, no, you have to have being as an equitable part of that balance. You can't just live on the do side of things. You have to have a substantial, significant portion of your life is about being. That's where you get the balance from. Part of leaving the job was following the calling of my soul, and it was asking myself, do I really trust in this to do this? Because there was nothing else. There was no pain. Sure, work is chaotic. That's work. That's most places, right? And sure, it had changed a lot. I used to love that type of work, used to really get into it. The environment's changed a lot, methodologies, different things have changed a lot. I've gotten older. I mean, that probably factors in. I don't care about certain things the way that I used to care about certain things. And all of this played in, and the question was coming like, do I really trust? I had to understand what was driving my decision to let go. What was driving my decision to leave that? After having most of my life stripped away from other things that have occurred that I've spoken on at different times, I spent the last few years like rebuilding the foundation of my life. Whether that was rebuilding my physicality and my body, building my internal world and making that world actually a happy place, right? A place of peace, actually creating a home that's a home of peace and a home of solace. And the job was key in all of that, because the job allowed me the ability to do what I already knew how to do, to come back in after going through some things in my life. I could just step right back into that work again without really missing a beat, and have the money and different things come in that I needed in order to rebuild some practical aspects of my life. And now the question was, can I really let this go? What am I trusting in? Am I trusting that this is the best it's ever going to get? Dude, you make really good money and you work remote. I can literally sit there on days when chaos is reigning and kind of go, all right, I don't have the energy for this today. I'm just going to take the next hour or so and go and watch a show. Because you're all driving me crazy and you ain't giving me any direction anyway on which way to go. And all of these things, right? So I can argue with myself over and over. I've got it really good. But the question was, could I let this go? Was I going to trust in myself and in life that all would be provided for me? Or was I going to continue to hang on? And there is absolutely nothing wrong with working that type of a job, a 9-to-5 job or anything like that. That's not what this is about. For me, there was something within me that was saying, it's time to let go. There are bigger things waiting for you, and it's time to do that. And I'm like, are you sure? Like, okay, I've been wanting this my entire life, but at the same time, now that I feel this resonance within me saying, yeah, it's time. Let's do that thing. Let's just let go of this. And in my head, I'm thinking, I use this though to rebuild all of this. And I'm sitting in a real sweet spot right now. And I had to even actually apply what I call the Seinfeld thing. I think I brought it up before, where the TV show Seinfeld, they didn't wait till everything, they didn't just keep pushing and keep making shows and everything until there was a decline and say, oh, I guess we gotta let it go now. No, they said, yeah, we've done all we wanted to do with the show, and we're at the top, and we're gonna exit now. And so I had to really look at that, and I had to start wrestling with the questions of what was going on within me. Could I really trust in this particular situation and take those steps? There were a lot of fears there, and I had to wrestle with those fears. And denying or ignoring those fears wouldn't do any good. Suppressing those fears wasn't going to do any good. fighting against those fears just keeps the fears alive because you're just feeding energy to that thing. So instead, I had to take a look at them and gently welcome them in. For example, the fear of what if you're unable to find another way to make money? I simply acknowledged it, thanked it, and reframed it. Yeah, that could be true, but what if I actually get paid to exist? What if I actually get paid to do what really lights my soul on fire? What if I get paid in such a way that I have more money coming in than I know what to do with? What if I have to let go of this current job before something new reveals itself? Before something else that's even greater can come into my life? And as I worked with the fears, I began to recite different affirmations for myself, such as I trust that what is mine by divine right is already mine. I don't have to run out and seek it. I don't have to chase it. I trust in the calling of my own soul. And I trust that all will be provided because abundance is our natural state. They teach you in the corporate world to be competitive, right? We've all been there in one shape or another, one way, shape, or form. Competition is something that abounds in many, many places. There's nothing wrong per se with competition. But competition also comes from the root really of scarcity. Well, I have to compete with you and I can't give you my secrets of how to do things. Because, well, then you'll know what I know. And you'll be able to do what I do. And then you'll take my customers. And then I'll be left with nothing. All of that is scarcity, fear-based thinking, right? Rather than looking at it from an abundance perspective. As I worked through these fears, I simply thanked each one of them. And doing this allowed me to trust the process while I was doing it. It was building that trust, saying, can I actually do this? At first, the fears were pretty strong, but as I continued to work with them little by little, and I continued to check in and feel into when is the best time for me to do this? Do I just jump off the cliff right now? Because a big part of me wanted to. If I wait till the new year to do it, does that feel right? Nah, it didn't feel right. So I had to do all of these internal things. All of these things, all of this internal work that I was doing was trust. It was trusting the process. This was part of the process. To look at these parts of self that weren't totally on board with the idea and say, okay, what do you have to bring to the table? What is your worry? What is your fears? What were the beliefs that were there? And then look at those and work with those. And so eventually, I came to the decision that I would, instead of just being that frog sitting on the log there, that I would actually jump. And so I jumped on October 10th. And coincidentally, I didn't know anything about it at the time when I set the date, but coincidentally, that aligned with the 1010 portal that I saw a whole bunch of stuff online about. And a friend pointed that out, and it was like, oh, Yeah, I hadn't caught on to that. That's very interesting. See, we can proclaim our trust all day long, but until we actually take action, whether that is even just surrendering and letting go, until we take action, our faith is of little value. James 2:26 says, "For just as the body without the spirit is dead, so also faith without works." In other words, faith without action is dead. Trust is one of those really weird things because it's a paradox in and of itself. That in order to trust, in order to learn how to trust, you actually have to trust.
Yeah.
There's no other way it works.
No, there's not. I know.
It's so strange.
Damn it.
So then how do we do this, right? Because if you've experienced significant loss or experiences, betrayals, whatever they were in life, the things that felt unsafe, it may not feel like you can trust. Sometimes we can trust in self, but not in others. Sometimes we have more trust in others and not so much trust in self. But the beauty of it is we get to play with all of it. We get to get curious about all of it. We get to meet ourselves where we're at. We get to establish a new relationship with trust. So how do we create that relationship that's not based on fear, but instead based on faith? You simply acknowledge and meet yourself where you're at with whatever it is that you're struggling with, whether that's trust of self, whether that's trust of God or source or a higher power, whether it's trust in another person or persons. Whatever that is, you just begin meeting yourself where you are. That's the only place you can be. And there's nothing bad about being in that place where you are. As with all things, the trusting begins with you, and it all starts in here. And then, like all things, practice and a repetition, one baby step at a time. The truth is, when we stop bracing against life, that view that life is happening to us, that we're a victim of it in some fashion, and instead we choose to embrace life, knowing that even though at times it doesn't make sense to us, life is happening for us, for our highest and best, then we are already acting in trust. I know just coming here today, I had to trust that I would be able to actually get through.
Yeah.
Because in previous years, I've gone, I've tried to drive around and tried to do the things, and there's been years where I'm like, it's been 30 minutes now, I still can't make it across, whatever, they're not letting me across, I don't know where to go, I'm driven around, I'm going home. And I went home, and today, I was like, well, that's not really an option since I'm supposed to be the one up there speaking. So I'm gonna have to look and do my diligence of, okay, where can I potentially go across? And okay, well, we'll just trust that all things are gonna work then, and I didn't have any problem at all, just drove right here. Had to come the right route, but still I came here. As we look at our relationship with trust, we can affirm the following for ourselves. We'll go through these affirmations in a moment, but I just want to take a minute to say, trust is a difficult thing. We've been sold that trust it should be so easy, but because of our experiences of life, because of some of the hurts that we have experienced, it depends on where you are at with your relationship with all of those different parts of self. And as much healing as you can do, as much work and internal work as you can do, there's generally always something else there internally that comes up. You thought you've dealt with all of the past pain of whatever that thing is. And then you're just out and about doing your thing and you have an experience. And something bubbles up all of a sudden and you wonder where that came from, right? And now it's a new layer. You're like, I thought I've dealt with this already. Why is this here? Well, it's just a new experience that you're having that triggered something that needed to come up, and it's coming up. And trust is having the faith that you can sit and you can look with those parts of self. It doesn't mean that you've done something wrong or done something bad or didn't do the healing correctly before. It just says, great, you're operating at an even deeper level now. Your body and being is ready for this other piece to come up. The wisdom of your soul is just that. So when something comes up, you can actually trust that. And instead of interpreting it as bad or negative that you didn't do enough, instead it's like, oh, I get to embrace this. I get to welcome this in, this belief, this part of me, however you want to term that for yourself. I get to look at that and I get to work with this. And all of that is an aspect of trust. Be gracious with yourself when you work on things. That is the number one thing that I would hope that you might be here with today. We are very gracious with other people. We are very gracious with kids. But when it comes to ourselves, at least in my experience and those that I know, we are really hard on ourselves. So the first thing is, whenever you begin to look at anything in your life, meet you where you're at, and meet that part of you with tons and tons of grace. Allow yourself to give it to yourself and allow yourself to receive it. I'm going to read each one of these lines, these affirmations. I'm going to read each one by itself first. And then after each line, I will have you recite it back with me out loud if you are willing. I welcome a new relationship with trust in my life.
I welcome a new relationship with trust in my life.
I am safe to trust the unfolding of my life.
I am safe to trust the unfolding of my life.
I acknowledge my fears and I step forward with faith.
I acknowledge my fears and I step forward with faith.
I trust the wisdom within me.
I trust the wisdom within me,
For it is the voice of God.
for it is the voice of God.
I let go and I am caught.
I let go and I am taught.
I let go and I am held.
I let go and I am held.
I let go and I am free.
I let go and I am free.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. As you leave here today, may we each begin our new relationship with trust. To trust in the truth of who you are, in the wisdom of your soul, for it knows what is highest and best.
Thank you, Michael. All right, well, if you would like to share your resources with Unity Center of Des Moines, now is your opportunity to do so. If you're here in person, or maybe you're joining us online and do not carry cash, we also accept donations via Venmo and Zelle. Venmo is Unity Des Moines, and our logo is the profile picture, and Zelle is our email address, which is info@unitydesmoines.com. But whatever your contribution, whether it be of financial, energetic, or spiritual nature, we want to offer the following affirmation. I am infinitely abundant, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I thankfully acknowledge the divine source. Today's special music, I'm asking to trust myself, for spirit to flow through me, and for each of you to trust that whatever comes through is for your highest good. I started learning music before I was 5, and I was taught to read notes from a page. But when I picked up a Native American flute a few years ago, although there are charts with fingering, I didn't want to learn it that way. I just let my self be guided by spirit to know what notes to play. So I never have a clue when I sit down to play the flute what's going to come out. So it's a big exercise in trust for someone that was taught to read music. But I also trust that what comes through is for you today and for each of you individually.
Thank you.
Then I think I speak for everyone when I say that one. Thank you so much for sharing those gifts and practicing trust. I'd like to dedicate this offering to do the work of spirit and truth to the people of Unity Center of Des Moines. And we are grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, if we can turn our attention again to Deb, she's going to guide us through the Universal Greeting of Peace from the Gandhi Foundation. I'd like to invite everyone to stand up and follow along as she guides us through the hand motions and words. I offer you peace.
I offer you peace.
I offer you love.
I offer you love.
I offer you friendship.
I offer you friendship.
I see your beauty.
I see your.
I hear your needs.
I hear your peace.
I feel your feelings.
I feel your feelings.
My wisdom flows from the higher source.
My wisdom flows from higher source.
And I salute that source in you.
And I salute that source in you.
Let us work together for unity and love.
Let us work together. Thank you.
And now if we can make a great big circle around the room, kind of gauge us so that we can all hold hands. If you don't want to hold hands, that is okay. You just put your hands around your heart and we will sing the closing song together. The light of the divine surrounds us. The love of the divine enfolds us. The power of the divine protects us. The presence of the divine watches over us. Wherever we are, the divine is. And all is well. Thank you. We have so much food in the community room. Please help yourself. And also, if I could, there's gonna be healing hands in the back, and if we could get 2 rows of 6 chairs on each side, pushed towards the back, that will help prep for Beyond the Veil later today at 4 p.m. Hope to see everybody next week. Have a great time. Enjoy.